G'day viewers, I thought I would take a stroll along a quiet English village lane for a different setting and have a little talk about a topic I'd been meaning to talk about for a while, namely bullying. This has got a lot of attention recently after a succession of teen suicides in the USA, young teen gays who'd been persecuted, sometimes extremely violently, sometimes really just psychologically. They'd been harassed to the point that they felt they had no way out. And there's been a concerted effort to help younger people, particularly. That campaign's been known as It Gets Better, which is a good summary of how shit school is for a lot of people. It's an acknowledgement that, really what you're going through at the moment is shit. It sucks. It's not your imagination. It is really shitty. But when you're still at school, it can be really hard to divorce yourself from the fact that here and now is your whole life. But your whole life goes a long way beyond here and now. But it really is the case. Now, I was never subjected to severe bullying at school. I was certainly more than a touch of a social outcast. But an interesting thing happened when I left school. I could never really fit in with people at school, and so the hassling was always fairly low level. It wasn't violent, really very rarely violent. But when I finished school and went to college, I came upon this amazing discovery, namely that now I was no longer in this school environment where everyone had always hassled me, given me shit, and made the idea that I didn't fit in was all my fault. I was the source of the problem. Now I was at college with people who are really well educated, a lot of mature age students doing the course that I did, people who had travelled the world, really talented, interesting, fantastic people, and guess what? They were nice to me. They liked me. And slowly it began to dawn on me that I wasn't necessarily the problem. Far from perfect, but for all the fucking wankers who essentially wanted to make everything my fault, well, it turned out they weren't right. And I got heaps happier after leaving school. And I know when you're at school, it seems impossible to escape from, but it really does end. I mean, I've seen this used in so many ways. I remember just after the Columbine High School massacre, where a lot of people had said that was some sort of really bullied kids reacting to the violent jock culture at their school, whereas in truth it seems it was more about a fucked up little psychopath. But I remember a columnist, Ted Rawle, writing, look, having seen that, there's probably some really beat down, oppressed, bullied kid who's thinking they're going to do the same thing to get back at the bullies, and just don't. It's not worth it. Because you get past these things, even though today it doesn't feel like you will, you really do get past it if you let yourself, if you don't take an action that you can't take back, as in taking your own life. So it even goes back to the classics. There's a very old story, dates back, it's told by, versions of it were told by Persian poets, and it's an old Jewish story as well. A king asked the wisest men in his kingdom to tell him what saying would be true, what words would be true no matter what. And what they came up with was, "This too shall pass." And that statement really is true all the time. No matter how bad something feels at a given time, it passes. Nothing lasts forever. Now this of course holds for the good times as well. And to mix up my parables, I'll throw in the lyrics from the Flaming Lips in Do You Realise That the fact you know things are going to pass, or in their song that everyone you know someday will die. Don't waste time dwelling on it. Don't get depressed. Live in those good times. Live for those good times. You only know how good times are when you've had bad times. So bad times will pass, which hopefully helps you get through them, the knowledge that they will pass eventually. And so for people who feel like, yeah, they are being victimised and bullied, just stick with it. You will get past it. It does get better, no matter why you're being bullied, what sort of bigotry's behind it, or even if there's not even a reason, as bad a reason as homophobia or racism is. Sometimes you're just on the receiving end from a thug at school. You will get over it. It will pass. But on the topic of bullying itself, I would just like to say one thing. Every now and then the media does a real sort of beat up story on cyberbullying, how the internet is evil. Oh, look at all this bad stuff happening on Facebook. Yes, it's true. Bad shit happens online. I see it every day. But I don't really think there's such a thing as cyberbullying. There's just bullying. There's just people, evil, nasty people, victimizing other people because they think they can get away with it. Whether it's psychological bullying, the threat of violence, or just ostracizing someone, whether that happens face to face or online, or whether it's physical, violent bullying, comes from the same place. Honestly, real, actual, violent, beating up bullying is a lot harder to deal with than psychological bullying, taunting, cyberbullying. Little advice for anyone who feels like they're on the receiving end of cyberbullying. Switch off your computer for a while. I have to readjust this thing, it's heavy. A lot of people gloss over that simple solution to cyberbullying. Get off the damn internet for a while. Not permanently. Don't let these idiots, bullshit thug bullies dictate your life and say like you're never allowed on the internet because these people will come after you. But realise when you switch off the computer, they can't get you. And that helps put them in perspective. They're really just angry lumps of shit. So if you are getting hassled online, just switch the computer off. Step away for a while. That isn't rocket science. It's way harder to deal with someone who's beating you up, who lies in wait for you, and is just a vicious psychopath. If it's happening online, stay offline for a while. And yes, I know these wankers will do things like get at you through your friends, they'll do phone calls, but do what you can to keep yourself away from them. Don't give them power. Take the power back for yourself. They have exactly as much power as you give them, the cyberbullies. Which is one of the reasons I sometimes react so forcefully to hater comments. Not so much for what they said to me, because I know these gutless wonders go around doing it to everyone, hoping to find someone weak enough to be hurt. So don't let them hurt you. Don't react. Seriously, don't react. Get away from them. You're better than them. You'll get over it, and they'll have to find some other way to cope with their inadequacy when you don't let them take it out on you. But whatever happens, remember, it does get better.